Hello, welcome back to 30 Days to Building a Marriage You Love. I'm Danielle,
And I'm Chris.
and we are doing things a little bit differently for tip number 16 because Chris is away, and this has been so much of our marriage slash even relationship pre-marriage that we just thought we'll just roll with it and we'll do the videos like this because this is real life. And you know what? We're all in this together, right? So, babe, thanks for being on here tonight. Thanks for
No,
making it.
happy to be here. Thank you for being on here tonight with 4 kids at home all by yourself.
Oh, thanks. I look so lovely, don't I?
You always look lovely, honey.
You're too kind. Okay, so tip number 16, what is it?
16, and make the most of it.
That is what we decided on. We were just going back and forth with like 6 different titles about this, and I was literally about to blurt out the wrong one. Make the most of it. I'm really glad you said it, because I was still going with give your best. Make the most of it.
Yes.
Do you want to go off?
Sure, I'll start. Make the most of it. So obviously, being out of town for your job is very real life for a lot of us, and in the military, it's very real life more often than not in different seasons. And I think what's super important on all of that is first your attitude, right? How are you going to respond to the situation at hand? Uh, Having a great attitude about it from both our perspectives. Obviously, I don't like being away. I enjoy doing my job, and I enjoy being positioned in different areas to influence change. But at the same time, I don't like being away from my family. I don't like being away from my kids and missing out on that. But making the most of it is super important too. And it goes back to one of our earlier points, which is quality over quantity. I don't necessarily have a whole lot of time to talk when I'm out of town for work, but when I do, I try to make the most of it and make sure I'm engaged with Danielle, and engaged with the kids, and make the most of that season and that time by really focusing my attention on them for whatever time I have with them for the day. What about you?
Yeah, I think it's I think make the most of it, exactly like what you said, is just what do I have? And it's almost like the puzzle pieces. And what can I do with this? How can I celebrate the wins? That's another phrase that we use a lot in our home. Chris loves it because I'm always like, all right, like what's the small win? And so
Yeah.
even looking for those pockets of wins that you can connect, that you can celebrate, that you can even elaborate, because sometimes it is really challenging, be it a busy season, be it a tough season in your relationship, or be it like Chris and I have had several seasons of our marriage where he has been away and we've not been on like just an hour time change, but 9 hours, 9.5 hours, or 12 hours of a time change. And you do have such a weird, odd overlap of time that you're like, okay, these are our 30 minutes and it's my very end of the day and you're beginning. So whatever that looks like, how do you make the most of that? I think this is a very small example, but an example that has come to mind a lot. And I know that this is all said with good intentions. So know that is my heart, that as I'm sharing this example. But I hear often, if somebody asks, what does your spouse do? So a lot of times it's said in a joking manner, but a lot of times, more times than not, the spouse has a hard time articulating, and that they're like, I don't even know, something with computers. And you
Yep.
just are like, oh, or something with helicopters, or something with
helicopters. Yeah.
yeah, like, and they're not even able to articulate. And there's a thought sometimes that comes to mind that I think about, and it's always a really good reminder for me, because it's like, if this is my person, this is the person who I'm most excited about. This is the person who I'm supposed to champion best. This is the person who I'm supposed to be closest with. Then wouldn't knowing what they do, what takes up at a minimum, 40 hours of their thoughts and their efforts a week, at a minimum. 40 hours, wouldn't that be a way to engage or make the most of even like this season with them? Because if that's taking up brain space, if that's presenting challenges or wins for them, then those are, and I know that this may not sound fun and it doesn't maybe sound sexy of like, that's not exactly the win I was thinking, but it is still an opportunity to find a win. It is still a space that you can lean in and engage and connect with them to identify like, wow, well, like what went well today? Like this is exactly how our very first deployment had to go, because there were no other fun things to connect around. Chris wasn't going out to places I was, but I was like, I still want to get to know you. So how was your day? What did, what went well? What did you find challenging? And just getting to know not only about what he did, but what excited him about what he did and what was challenging to him about what he did, why it was challenging. These are the types of conversations or questions that I think add value when we're talking about all different types of seasons, all different types of circumstances, and how you can show up and make the most of it to connect, to going back to building into your foundation to a marriage that you love.
Yeah, that's really good. Well said, babe. I think too, along the same lines is, Danielle does a really good job of trying to pull out the best parts of what I do. That is it. Not only interesting to her, but she does a great job of just trying to learn about my career and learn about things that are important to me. Along the same lines, it's important for me while I'm gone to make sure that I'm as present as I possibly can with what's going on back home. Whether that's a text, whether that's a picture, whether that's knowing when I can call them, whether it's at breakfast, at dinner, right before bedtime, and making sure I set aside that space to have an appointment. So I get an opportunity to have focus from the kids. They get my undivided attention, and I'm able to just kind of engage them. And
Yeah.
it's kind of fun too, because one of the best parts of our day is at dinner, because we're all together, and then as soon as dinner is over, it's going to be crazy for like 30 minutes or so.
It is
And
like a race, like who can get out of their chair and then like to
and
chase you.
all four, well, not all four, because one of them isn't crawling yet, but three of the four are done, and it is a round robin of running around the
Yeah.
kitchen island and all the rooms. And it's a great part of our day, and it's something that I actually really look forward to at the end of the night. No matter how tired I am, it's just so much fun, because it's just for a short season, right? And so when I'm gone, Danielle is actually really good about making sure I'm engaged with that too, and she'll kind of pretend that I'm there on the phone, and we'll run together with the kids sometimes and play tag or hide and seek or something else, to make sure that the kids feel like I'm there. And then as I say goodnight to them, I'll give them a kiss, and Danielle puts the phone up to them, and they kiss the phone. Or it's just a way to kind of make the most, make the best of the situation that we're in, being gone, and still kind of feel like you're engaged and feel like you're a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And like going back to, these are not necessarily always fun things. They're not necessarily always easy things, but the thing that you've got to think about as we try and think about, and I think, what's your win? What's your why? And so when we go back to, if I'm working to get to know my person better, if I'm working to pursue intimacy with them, if I'm working to invest in the type of marriage that I want, that I don't have or have never had or would like to have, right? If you want something you've never had, you've got to do something you've never done. And so just being willing to start practicing, okay, and thinking about it like it's a muscle. And it may feel wonky at first to ask some of these weird questions. It may feel weird to, hey, do you want to read a book together? Do you want to play a card game together? what was the best part of your day? What was the most challenging part of your day? Like, could you tell me again what you do? Like, no joke. I was so determined to learn what Chris did early on in our marriage that I had to have him write out a flow chart of the structure of the military, because I'm visual and I'm tactile, and um but it was so confusing to me, and no wonder so many military spouses are like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I I can recount at least 7 times that he had to write out this chart where I was like, I'm really sorry. I really want to learn. Can you write it out again? Can you draw it out again? Um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and I'm gonna be honest, and I'm just gonna, because this is safe space. It's just, us and you here watching. But I did not do a great job of that at our last assignment, where I was like, I know that you're, like, and I kept having to just remind myself. And I had lots of good excuses where I was like, well, I'm this and this. And then I was like, no, my marriage is the most important physical relationship with another person I will ever have. This has to remain one of the top priorities. Like, I've got to, like, redirect, get back on it to just make sure, like, am I being intentional even with the small details of this? So I'm making the most of it. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Absolutely. No, it's definitely been a journey for us, and especially when it comes to distance, and you can focus on what's not great about being away, or you can focus on the things that still keep you connected while you're away, and truly make the most of it. So it's been interesting the times we have been away, because in some ways, because you're so focused on talking and finding details and communicating details,
yeah,
we've grown close together throughout those seasons. And honestly, we fell in love together while being away for 9 months, while being deployed. Yep. What?
I just, oh man. And then I was going to add, and I'm not going to cut this out because, again, this is just real life. And then I wanted to just add right now that then if that's not working, you can just always have like a little dance party. Your baby. Make the most of it.
I'm Chris Wingate. This is Danielle Wingate.
That's always like when the curtain's trying to close and I just feel the hook coming, like, we're done.
Yeah.
It's all done.
Don't forget to like us and subscribe.
Thanks for joining us for Make the Most of It.